Hello, so this is another one of my videos for my Illustrator class for Project 1 Symbols. In this demonstration, I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about this idea of starting with simple shapes and then combining them together, whether you're using Pathfinder or Shape Builder. And then also we'll look at modifying the shape further, so refining it further with the pencil tool. And there's a feature inside the pencil tool, if you double click on it, where you can set it so that when you draw close to the edge of something, that it edits the path that you already got on. So you can take it from something which is really simple, you can sort of build the basic structure of it out of these geometric shapes, and then you can modify it into something which is more organic with the pencil tool afterwards. And then on this one also I've divided it with the knife tool, so that I can change the hair color to the face color, and then I've just added some additional shading over the top with multiply. So this is what we're going to take a look at in this video. I'll start a new file. So to create the profile, I'm going to begin with a circle, and then with the rectangle tool I'm going to draw a rectangle that starts on this corner right here, comes down a little bit below the bottom of the circle. Then I'm going to draw another rectangle right here for the neck. I'm also going to draw another rectangle right here, which goes about halfway down this first rectangle to form the nose. So obviously the nose doesn't really want to be a rectangle, but it gives us the position for it, and then we can modify the shape of this into something closer to a nose by taking away this anchor point. So with the pen tool, remember, if you put your cursor over a selected anchor point, it becomes the minus anchor points tool, and you can then delete that point. So now we've got the basic structure. Let's bring the back of the neck up just a little bit, and then select over this whole thing. And then we're going to go open up Pathfinder. So there's a couple of ways that we've been looking at how you can combine shapes together. One of them is through Pathfinder and the other one is through the Shape Builder tool. So with the Shape Builder tool here, because it's made out of so many different shapes, we've got to do quite a little bit of moving around to combine them. But we can combine it that way. The other way you can do it is just simply clicking once on this first icon in Pathfinder, which is Unite. Remember, when you're doing that, if you hold Option whilst you're doing it, it still keeps it editable. So you get the view of it as if it's all combined together in preview. But you can see here, this is a little bit off. So I could, for instance, readjust it before I finally commit to it. Then I'll expand this. Once we've got to this point, we can start modifying it a little bit further. So for instance, maybe the nose wants to go up a little bit, and the chin wants to come in slightly. And also, if I select over this point, I could round the chin off a little bit, and I could round the nose off a little bit here. Up here at the top of the nose, to form the bridge a little bit better, I'm going to add an anchor point. And then let's pull this anchor point by holding Command whilst I'm on the pen tool. It gives me the direct selection tool because that was the last selection tool that I'd used. So I'm going to bring that in, and then I'm going to bring this handle out a little bit. So you can see how that starts to form like a little lump, and then we'll round this bit off slightly. The other feature I wanted to show you here is that in the pencil tool, if you double click on it, down at the bottom here you have this thing called Edit Selected Paths, and then a within slider at the bottom. So within 10 pixels, for instance. And then this means that when you draw close to a path which is selected, it'll, instead of it making a new path, it'll edit the one you've already got. The other option up here is how accurate, how smooth this is. So if it's really accurate, it'll pick up all of the sort of wavering lines, any sort of little shakes in the line. Whereas if you do it smooth, it will kind of smooth that out. So we'll leave that right there on the basic settings for right now. This path will need to be selected for me to edit it. So I'll select it first, and then if I draw close to it, you want to start close to the path. You can then come away from it. You can go away from it as far as you want, but you need to start close to it and end close to it. And you can see then that we've modified the shape of it. So for the hair, for instance, I could come up here. Have this come around here and then come back. And then we've modified the overall shape. So let's just make a couple more adjustments. This bit right here, I'm going to take this anchor point out. And then I'm going to make this into a curve. So I'm just holding Command. When I put my cursor over here, I can then bend that. And let's pull these handles in slightly. And then I'm going to select the whole thing again. And then with the knife tool, we can cut it. So the knife tool may be hidden with the scissors. Rather than just cutting this shape, I'm going to make a copy and paste it in front. That way we've got one that's still intact underneath, and then the one that we cut we can use as a separate shape. You'll see what I mean better once I've finished it. So I'm going to cut it through here to form the hairline. Now we've got these two shapes. So we've got the hair as a shape, and the face itself is also a shape. If I can get that to pull apart. There we go. So you can see underneath we've got the whole thing again. So that was because we did the copy and then paste in front, right, earlier. So I don't need this one. I can change the color of this here to whatever color I want. And then I can change the color of this separately because it's now a separate shape because we've cut it. So the reason I suggested making a copy and pasting it up front is that if we had just cut the shape by itself, just with one version of it, then if I wanted to change this path, it would be difficult because there will be two shapes sitting next to each other. In this case, we've got the whole thing underneath, so if I want to change the shape of this a little bit, let's say I went in here with the pencil tool and I wanted to modify this shape here, I can do it, and underneath we've still got the whole shape. So it gives you a little bit more flexibility in terms of how you edit it. So it's, in a sense, you could think of it as a sort of non-destructive approach. Rather than cutting the original shape, make a copy and paste it in front. So that's it for this demo. This is how to create a profile, but really the basic idea of this is starting with simple shapes. You can sort of construct the overall structure of what it is you're trying to draw, and then you could modify it further with various tools like the pencil tool for editing the path, or using the direct selection tool to move anchor points around and so on. Okay, bye for now.